welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another Popsugar Reading Challenge check-in. I did another one of these back in April, I think it was. So if you want to see me talk about the first batch of prompts, go check out that video. I won't be talking about those prompts here, so if you're interested, go watch that video. So in this video I'm going to go through the prompts that I've completed since my last video, basically, so over the past few months. I'm not going to really go into the books here because I've already talked about all these books in other videos. So I'm just going to go through the prompts and tell you which books I read for each prompt and why I think those books work for the prompts, basically. So let's just get started. We have quite a few prompts to go through. As always, I have my computer right in front of me, so I'm going to be looking at that a lot, basically, but that's just how it's going to be. So the first prompt that I've completed is prompt number 1, a book that was published in 2021. And for this prompt, I've read Heartstopper Volume 4 by Alice Oseman because this book was published in 2021. There are a number of other books I could have picked for this prompt, basically, because I've read quite a few books that was published this year. But yeah, I decided to use Heartstopper Volume 4. The next prompt that I've completed is prompt number 3, a book that has a heart, diamond, club, or spade on the cover. And for this prompt, I read The Gentle Art of Fortune Hunting by K.J. Charles. I don't know how easy it is to see, but this cover actually has several of those things on the cover, so it totally works. The next prompt that I've completed is prompt number 4, a book by an author who shares your zodiac sign. And for this prompt, I read More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. It wasn't actually that easy to figure out the author's birthdays, at least the authors of the books that I read. But I was able to figure out that Adam Silvera's birthday is sometime at the beginning of June, I think. And my birthday is at the end of May, so I'm a Gemini, and Adam Silvera apparently is as well. So this book totally works. The next prompt that I've completed is prompt number 5, a dark academia book. And for this prompt, I've read My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I struggle a little bit with this prompt because I think I mentioned before that dark academia is not really something that I'm drawn to. I've read a number of books in that subgenre, and I haven't really enjoyed them all that much. So I don't think they're really for me. But I decided to check out this one and I actually really liked it, so that was a good choice, and I definitely think that it works for the prompt. The next prompt that I completed is prompt number 7. A book where the main character works at your current or your dream job. And you know, when it comes to my current job, I don't know that there are a whole lot of books with characters that has that job, so I decided to go with dream job. So for this prompt, I used The Summer of Everything by Julian Winters because the main character in this book works in a indie bookstore, and I think that sounds great, so yeah, totally works for that prompt. Then I've also completed prompt number 10, which is a bestseller from the 1990s. And for this one, I decided to use Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I actually struggled a little bit with that prompt because I don't have a lot of books on my TBR from the 1990s. But then I realized that this book, it was published in the 90s, and I had been meaning to reread this because I want to continue the rest of the series, so I decided to just do that and read this one. I probably wouldn't have read it as soon if it wasn't for this prompt, but I figured why not. And as you would have seen if you watched my July wrap-up, I really enjoyed this when I read it for the second time as well, so I think it was a good choice. And now I can hopefully continue with the series soon as well. Then I've also completed prompt number 14, a book set in a restaurant. And for this one, I read The Last Drop by Layla Rain. This is a romance, and one of the main characters in here, he's a chef. And in this book, he is working on starting a new restaurant. So at least a part of the book is set in that new restaurant. So I would say that it works, even though not the entire book is set in that restaurant, obviously. Then I've completed prompt number 16, a book by an indigenous author. And for this one, I've read Herrene sendte oss hit by Elin Annalabba. This is a book about indigenous people in Sweden and Norway, and the author who wrote it is indigenous as well. Then we have prompt number 17, a book that has the same title as a song. And for this one, I've read Tin Man by Sarah Winman. For this prompt, I basically just I googled some titles of books that I had read or was meaning to read, to see if they happened to be the same title as a song. And this one was, I cannot remember the song now or who it was by, but according to Google anyway, this one or this title is also a song. So then we have prompt number 19, a book that discusses body positivity. And for this prompt, I've read Sitting Pretty, The View from My Ordinary Resilient Disabled Body by Rebecca Tosick. This book I think definitely works for the prompt. It's written by a woman who is in a wheelchair, and she talks a lot about being disabled, and she definitely talks about it in a very positive light. So yeah, I would definitely say that this book has body positivity. Then I've completed prompt number 23, a book with something broken on the cover. And for this prompt I read Don't Let Go by T.N. Nova and R. Phoenix. And this is a romance. And for this prompt I basically just went through all my TBR books. I didn't really find any physical books that could fit for this prompt, but I found a couple of books from my Kindle that I could use, and this one was one of them. I didn't particularly like the book, unfortunately, but at least it works for the prompt. So another prompt that I've completed is prompt number 29, a book set in multiple countries. And for this prompt, I reread Heartstopper Volume 3. And this book, or this series, is set in Britain, but in this particular book, the characters, they go on a school trip to Paris. So a large part of this book is set in Paris, so I think it works. Then we have a prompt where I might be stretching it a little bit. That is prompt number 31, a book by a blogger, vlogger, YouTube video creator, or other online personality. And I decided to use Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. And the reason I think that I might be stretching it a little bit is just that I think this prompt was probably created to read books by people who were a blogger or a vlogger or whatever first, and then they wrote a book. But in this case, it's actually the other way around. Brandon Sanderson is obviously primarily an author, but as far as I've been able to find out, he also has a YouTube channel, and I think he has a blog, or he partakes in a blog or something like that as well. So he definitely seems to have a online presence. So that's why I decided to use one of his books for this prompt. But like I said, I might be stretching it a little bit, but I decided to just go with it, even if I might be stretching it a little bit. Then we have prompt number 32, a book whose title starts with Q, X, or Z. And for this prompt, I read The Quiet House by Lily Morton. I decided to just skip the in the title and use the word quiet. I wasn't quite sure if that was something that I should do, but I saw that some other people who were doing this challenge also did that. And I didn't really have a lot of books on my TBR starting with any of these letters, so I figured I'd just go with it and use The Quiet House. Then we have prompt number 33, a book featuring 3 generations, grandparent, parent, and child. And for this prompt, I read A Woman Is No Man by Etaf Rom. This book is about 3 generations of women, so I would say it definitely works for this prompt. Then we have prompt number 34, a book about a social justice issue. And for this one, I read All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. In this book, the author talks a lot about being black and queer, so I would definitely say that this book works for that prompt. I've also completed prompt number 36, a book that has fewer than 1,000 reviews on Amazon or Goodreads. And for this prompt, I decided to use Bad Boy by Emma Alcott. I haven't checked now to see how many reviews this book had, but at the time that I read it, it definitely had less than 1,000 reviews on either Goodreads or Amazon. I can't remember which one of those that I checked. Some of you may remember that I didn't really like this book at all. But I decided to use it for this prompt because, you know, I figured that way something good would come out of me reading this book. So yeah, I decided to use it. Then we have prompt number 39, a book everyone seems to have read but you. And for this one, I decided to use The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. Because at the point that I read this book, it felt like everybody else had already read it. I know that's not true. I know there are plenty of people who haven't read this book. But it felt that way, so I think it works. And then we have prompt number 40, your favorite prompt from a past Popsugar Reading Challenge. And this prompt is always a part of this reading challenge, at least the years that I've done it. And I pretty much always use the prompt LGBTQ plus protagonist because I read a lot of books that would fit that prompt. So there's a bunch of books that I could have used for it, but I decided to just go with Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall because this is a male-male romance. Then we have prompt number 46, a book from your TBR list that you meant to read last year but didn't. And for this one, I have Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This book I've been meaning to read forever, or ever since I got it basically, which I think was 2018 maybe, could be 2019. I think it was probably 2018 really. And it's just been sort of at the top of my meaning to read list the entire time, but I never got to it. So yeah, it definitely works for this prompt. Then we have prompt number 48, a book from your TBR list chosen at random. And for this one, I decided to use the book that was picked for me when I did my TBR jar prompt for the Bookish Bingo a while ago. As some of you may remember that, I basically had all my TBR books, or most of them anyway, on a list. And then I used a random number generator to just pick a random book from that list. So I decided to use that book for this prompt as well. And the book that was picked for me then was Cabin Fever by Ro Horvath, so I just used that one. And then we have the final prompt that I'm going to talk about today, which is also the final prompt of the challenge, and that is prompt number 50. A free book from your TBR list, gifted, borrowed, or from the library. And for this one, I decided to use Persuasion by Jane Austen because I read this book earlier this year and I got it from the library. So yeah, that would work. So that is all the prompts that I've completed since my last video, which is quite a lot actually now that I'm going through them. And I counted to see how many prompts I have left. And I actually only have 11 prompts left that I need to complete by the end of the year. And actually, 3 of those prompts I'm either currently reading books for or have books on my August TBR that could fit for it. So hopefully by the end of August I will only have 8 prompts left, which is great. I actually have this goal to try and finish this challenge before December, because in December I kind of just want to read Christmas romances, or I want to have the opportunity anyway to read Christmas romances if that's what I feel like doing, and not have like this challenge hanging over me at the very end of the year. So basically I want to try and finish this challenge in November, and that means that after this month I only have 3 months left. So I'm happy that I only have 8 prompts left, because that seems doable over the course of 3 months. Of course, some of the prompts that I've left are also some of the more challenging ones, or the ones that I find more challenging because it's not the easiest ones to find books for. But with only 8 prompts left, I think I'll be okay. I do have a plan for most of the prompts anyway, so yeah, hopefully I will be able to complete the challenge by the end of November. That is the plan anyway. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, you can always hit like down below, or you could subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!